All right. All right. That should do it. All right. Let me try there. Hey, how's it going out there? Still trying to figure this out a little bit. Actually, I want to do this real quick. Let me try something quick. Do this, do that. Okay, that comes in, and then okay, there's that. Or let's see, I can do this, and I can do this, or this. Yeah, that kind of works too. Actually, I kind of like that. Anyways, hey, welcome. So, you guys hear me? Let me know. I've kind of adjusted the audio levels and cleared add the compressor and noise suppression, whatever the hell it is, and kind of clean up the audios because I didn't like the way the last one sounded. So let me know if this one sounds a little bit cleaner, a little bit less, I don't know, amplified. There's a lot of gain on the other one. I turned it down about 5 dB and then quieted it down. So does this sound a little bit better? If so, let me know. I can boost up the audio a little bit if I need it. But right now I'm about negative 5 dB and it sounds pretty good. Or at least it looks pretty good on the meters. But anyways, while you're telling me how the sound is, I'll tell you what tonight's stream's about. How's that sound? So in the Without a Crystal Ball Truth Revealed group, which I'll be changing the name after 28 days, and after that I'll probably be moving on to other things. I've only been asked to help the group out for a little while, and that's all I really intend to do is help it out for a little while, and then after that, turn it over to whoever. If Allison comes back, that's fine. If she doesn't, that's fine too. That's completely up to her. But I'm not going to be able to admin for that group for any extended period of time. I have my own life to do, and I was doing it as a favor. And so, I can't invest too much time. But while I'm doing it, people had asked me to post and things about sharing my experience and things of that nature with Katie Joy. And one of the things I had asked in the group was if you want me to post either one long post about Katie Joy's Flying Monkeys, or maybe individually talk about each one. And overwhelmingly, like 91%, it was individually, which, I actually think is a good idea. I think that's actually better that way because you get a little more information per person about why this person was being a flying monkey, which is called abuse by proxy, when you have a narcissist that picks a fight with somebody and then rallies up their troops, sends their troops over as flying monkeys, and that harasses and re-abuses the traumatized victim. It's called the abuse by proxy. It's something that Katie Joy and people that are around Katie Joy seem to follow quite by the playbook of abuse by proxy. So I decided to randomly kind of pick people that I thought openly supported Katie Joy and were lying for her and openly harassing people, because I thought it was important to understand that Katie Joy does not act alone. She doesn't have the ability to harass people solely on her own. So she has a group of people, or did have a group of people that did it for her a while back. And I'm sure she still does. There's no question about that. But I'm going to be talking about probably the ones that did it before, when I was falsely accused of many things by Katie Joy. And by the way, I'm still waiting for an audio check. And nobody out there. Can somebody let me know if the audio is okay? Like I said, I can't really hear it. I could probably put it to the headphones and do what's called a monitor, but I want to hear how it sounds to the outside. So let me know. But anyway, so the first person I want to talk about, it was going to be the whole show tonight. I'm not going to be talking about multiple people tonight. But I decided to talk about somebody who's, for some reason, decided to come out of the woodwork lately, which is kind of something that we all noted, that every time Katie Joy gets in a lawsuit, every single time Katie Joy gets sued, some of the similar names comes out. Oh, thank you, Autistic Show. I appreciate that. You're fine. Appreciate it. Do you guys notice this, though? I'm sure you do, that every single solitary time Katie Joy has a lawsuit, the same exact group of flying monkeys comes out. A lot of them. And so I'm going to be going over each one as much as I can, but this is the first one. This particular flying monkey goes by the name of Rob Leah. He's more known as Science First, I guess, but on Twitter it's Robert Leah. And he was a flying monkey. I mean, you know what? I'm just going to read what I wrote on the post and provide you some evidence for it. How's that to sound? So I don't have to do it off the top of my head. So this is actually in the Without a Crystal Ball Truth Revealed group. It's on Facebook. I will put it in the video description. So if you guys want to join that group, that's fine. Like I said, I can't imagine after a month me really spending too much more time in it. I've already put guides in, and I've already, basically put my story out there. So there's really not much else I can do with it as far as, admin for the group. I mean, sure I can admin, but I don't want to invest too much more time in it. But all right, so I did put that in the video description. So, and it's also right here. There's that and that. All right, so this is what I wrote. And by the way, I'm gonna do a vote while I'm doing this. Let me vote. Start poll. Do you know of Rob Leah, aka Science First? There we go. Just kind of curiosity. All right. So let me know if you guys actually have heard of this dude before, because he's been coming around Twitter. So I wrote this. Lying flying monkeys in no particular order. I love that. Lying flying monkeys. That's exactly what they are. Today's flying monkey is Robert Leah, a.k.a. Science First. This flying monkey of Katie Joy's was in February of 2020 trying to convince people that I had sexually harassed Katie Joy Paulson. Just wrap your head around that for a second. To such a degree that the judge had seen a, quote, small sample of McRae's behavior and put, that was what he wrote, by the way, a, quote, small sample of McRae's behavior and put a bogus TRO, which is temporary restraining order, for her and her son, who she claimed I had abused. I've never been within 1,500 miles of her nor her son, in order to silence me under the Violence Against Women's Act. Robert Lee knew this was a lie for the following reasons. One, the judge never reviewed anything beyond the initial affidavit. In other words, when you do a TRO, the only thing that the court even looks at is that there's a petition filed and there's an affidavit, and that's assumed to be true unless it's fought against in a TRO or a judge adjudicates it and finds it to be false. It's not. It sucks because you're generally innocent, until proven guilty, but you are innocent until the person who has the respondent or the respondent of the TRO files for an HRO or doesn't. If they don't, then it's basically assumed that you're not contesting anything there. If you file for the HRO, you're saying, no, this affidavit is bogus and I want to fight it. In which case, it's just a temporary pre-injunction that's done for safety reasons, which I'm all for. I believe absolutely innocent to prove guilty. But there has to be safety, and if a woman or anybody, man or anybody, is being domestically abused in any way, shape, or form, safety has to take precedence. And we do the same thing, in court, where a person who's arrested still has to spend time in jail unless they get out on bail, even though they're innocent. But for safety concerns, especially if it's a really horrific crime, they're spending time in jail. Matter of fact, we had somebody on the Non Sequitur show that's still in jail for 3 years, still waiting trial, which was Mercedes Carrera. Still don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, she's still awaiting trial. She's innocent, but she's in jail. She's been in jail for 3 years now. That I think is a little egregious. That I don't agree with. But as far as having a protective order that's done ex parte for the safety of the victim, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's all this was. It was just ex parte. The court said, yep, this is an affidavit, this is a petition, they grant it. It's pro forma. It's done every single time. As long as you can put in there something that relates to harassment, you get the temporary injunction. But other than that, the judge never looked at anything else. Absolutely nothing. So based upon just the affidavit, which, by the way, we already proven she lied in. I mean, that's beside that's so many times we've gone over that she has lied in I think there was 31 different statements, and out of 28 or 9 of them, she lied about them or had something that was twisting. So yeah, the judge never reviewed any of the evidence, so that was a lie. 2. I'm sorry. That was number 2, actually. Number 1, Katie never provided evidence that I ever, quote, sexually harassed her. Never once. Never explained when it was, how it was. She only said it was before a show, during a show, or after a show. Didn't say the dates. Didn't say the times. Didn't say it was who there. All she said was who wasn't there, but that makes no sense because I only streamed with her 3 times. Only talked to her 3 times on air. And never provided a single shred of evidence. And I released her evidence. That's one of the things she was suing me for, is that I released her confidential evidence of her case against me that she said that was so horrific that she wanted everybody to know about, but wanted to keep the evidence, quote, confidential. There's a reason why she wanted to keep it confidential, because there was nothing there. And she was embarrassed probably. And my lawyer said she didn't want to go to trial. Okay, so number 3, the TRO never went to an HRO where the judge actually rules upon anything. Innocent until proven guilty apparently doesn't matter to flying monkeys like Rob. So he was already saying there was an RO. There wasn't. It was never adjudicated. He was already saying that I had done something that I didn't do with no evidence. So the process of law do not apply to flying monkeys. They don't care. All they're there to do is spread a narrative and do the dirty work for the person they're flying for, in this case, it was Katie Joy Paulson. Number 4, Violence Against Women Act only applies to domestic partners and familial relationships. I have never been within 1,500 miles of Katie Joy nor her child. It is a complete lie, prima facie, to anyone who spends 5 minutes reading about who VAWA could even apply to. In other words, VAWA only applied to people that were living together, domestic partners, husbands, wives, spouses, or people that are somehow related to them, uncle, father, something like that, where there's a actual proximity of the person. There was harm in proximity to the person. Somebody saying things about you on the internet 1,500 miles away that are true is not qualifications to get a protective order. It's abuse of the system. And these flying monkeys helped Katie Joy abuse the system, which she's still doing to this day. They're still coming around, helping her abuse the system, because every time there's a court case, they come around, just like Rob Leah comes around. And I'll show you the proof here coming up. Number 6, Katie Joy claimed the judge sua sponte, which means on the court's own accord. Nobody did a motion. It was on the court's own accord. Put her bogus TRO under Violence Against Women's Act and tried to claim it was because of the, quote, full faith and credit clause, which is under 18 U.S.C. Title 2265, which basically allows for a TRO or RO to be active across state lines and is standard on all state petitions for harassment. In other words, for 18 U.S.C. 2265, it just states that if you have a protective order in one state, it's going to be valid in any state. So if you get a protective order in California, and this person is not supposed to come within 1,000 yards of you or 1,000 feet or whatever it is, same thing if they go out of state. They're not allowed to come within 1,000 yards or feet or whatever it is. And that's standard on all of them. Katie Joy was telling people that the judge had put that little stipulation into her protective order. It's on the form that you can download in the courts. It's their, pro forma, and has nothing to do with them adding it on, which is something typical that Katie Joy has usually done, right? She, in her own case, remember a long time ago, she said because of her case, things were changed. In her case, there was new law. No, there was no law that had anything to do with her case. Absolutely nothing. Full faith and credit had nothing to do with Katie Joy or the judge. It was something that, again, is on all state-issued harassment orders to make sure that if the person goes out of state, they cannot be harmed by the person whose the petition order was granted upon, which makes sense. I'm all for that. But Katie Joy lied about that. I know. It's hard to believe. Number 5, the Violence Against Women's Act was defunded in 2019. The full faith and credit clause for protective orders still remained. In other words, the whole Violence Against Women's Act was no longer funded, but they kept the full faith and credit. And you can look that up. It was funded for like 6 months, and then it was completely defunded. Number 6, Katie Joy claimed the judge sua sponte. Number 7, my lawyer verified upon request that no such order from the judge was given sua sponte or in any other way. It was a flat-out lie by Katie Joy. My lawyer told me straight out that, in his opinion, she didn't want to go through with the TRO hearing. It should be HR here. I'm going to change that. She merely wanted to silence me, and I told her to F off. I was explicit in the NDA that I was not going to give up my right to expose her lies and constant defamation of others, and I didn't. It was a stipulation. It was, in no uncertain terms, given to my lawyer that there's absolutely no way I was going to stop talking about her and calling out her lying. There's just no freaking way. And that's what she wanted. She wanted me to stop telling the people the truth about her. And it didn't. Well, it worked for a while because I just chose not to talk about her. Other people were doing it, so I was like, they don't really need me. They're doing it, but I certainly could. And the flying monkeys were out saying, "Oh, look, Steve can't talk about Katie." Then they read the NDA, and there's nothing in there about that. Did they apologize? Of course not. They're flying monkeys, but they were running the narrative that I couldn't even talk about her because they had no clue. They didn't see the NDA. Nobody saw the NDA. Not even my closest friends. I didn't show anybody. I didn't even show Red's Rhetoric the NDA. I just told him to trust me. And as a friend, he did, which is why I'm going to be loyal to him to the day I die, because he trusted me. No questions asked. And I appreciated that. And then he realized why. And so it was because there was a clause in there that we defamed each other. It'd be $10,000 that you could sue for per defamation. And I didn't want him involved in that. I didn't want him even knowing about any the NDA stuff. I didn't want her to be able to say that he was like doing some dirty work for me. No. I just was like protecting him and everybody else and said, look, I did what my lawyer said to do, and so just trust me until a year from now, and I'll tell you exactly what happened, which I did. Yeah. And you guys too. I told you guys too, obviously. If you remember, I kept my word. Okay. Number, that's 7. She only agreed to drop the TRO if we merely didn't disparage each other, which was of no importance to me, as everything I ever say about her is factually based with evidence, which you guys know that too. Number 8, there was never an RO. As in Minnesota, a TRO and an RO are not the same thing. Some people argued, oh, it's temporary. It's a temporary restraining order. Yes, but they're legally two different things. Just like a temporary cure is not a cure, right? It's not you can have a temporary cure for something. That doesn't mean it is a cure. So think about that, the same thing for TRO and RO. They're not the same things. And people were spreading the narrative that the TRO was a form of RO. No, go read the statutes. They're completely different in the state of Minnesota. A TRO is a pre-injunction granted ex parte, and an RO is a post-injunction granted after an RO hearing or the person served doesn't respond to the petition. In other words, you didn't contest it. I responded and requested an HRO, so the TRO never converted to an RO because it never went to the HRO. She dropped it. This flying monkey Rob Leah even made a blog post on me trying to convince people that Katie's ridiculous claims about the TRO being so egregious that a judge put it under Violence Against Women's Act. That is how that is how dedicated he was in trying to spread around her BS around. He's come back around and still to this day still tries to simp for Katie. I don't know why. I don't even know how he knows Katie. But for unknown reasons. He is a real piece of crap, to say the least. Attaches the evidence for that this dude, without question, lied about me to help Katie Joy lie about her defamation with me. Feel free to ask me anything you like or about anything else. And then I asked, do you agree that he is a flying monkey? Okay, so that is basically what I wrote. And then let me show you what I have to support it. And by the way, you guys hanging in there out there? You guys are awfully quiet in live chat. That means you guys are usually listening, like intently. If there's nobody chatting, it's like that's kind of good, actually. It means you're listening. So 30% so far know him, 70% don't. Okay, all right. I'll ask another vote afterwards. All right, so let's see here. Let's do this. No, wait. That. Oh, let's do this. There we go. This was in June 15th of 2020. It went on to February, by the way, too. He says, an independent judge reviewed a small sample of McCrae's behavior and deemed it worthy of a restraining order under the Violence Against Women's Act. Not a troll, not a person easily fooled, a judge. Admit he did something terrible and move on. Advice offered to him, too. So let's analyze this. 1, the judge didn't review a small sample of anything. Judges just have the affidavit and the petition, which they always do. That's it. He didn't know nothing about any behavior. And he didn't deem it worthy of a restraining order. He deemed it worthy of a temporary restraining order. Again, it doesn't convert to restraining order until after an HRO hearing. Nor did he put it under Violence Against Women's Act. That was a lie. He also says Steve McCrae on the right-hand side, if anyone is wondering. I don't know what that was in regards to. These are old screenshots that I have in my notes. He was served a restraining order under the Violence Against Women's Act on June 1st for a 10-month harassment campaign against a female journalist who offended him. First of all, there's been no harassment against Katie Joy of any kind. 10 months, 0 month, 1 day. I've never harassed her in my life. What I have done is spoken out about her, as many other people have. And how many channels nowadays are speaking out against her? Many. How many times has she been sued for defamation? Many. If they would have listened to me back then and they didn't have these flying monkeys fighting for her, maybe more people would have listened. So because of these flying monkeys like Robert Leah, people like Dion DeRico has to sue her. People like Todd Chrisley had to sue her. People like Toddy Westbrook had to sue her. People like Jeffree Star and Nick Daly and Ellie B and Sherelle's World, all being victims of Katie Joy's harassment, among many others. And he's like trying to portray her as a journalist. No, she's not a journalist. As 7M's lawyer astutely pointed out, journalists don't go on drunken rants on IG. She's not a news reporter. She doesn't report the news. She has said her channel's about opinions. That's it. That's not a news reporter. So, but Rob Leah was trying to spread around this narrative that she was a journalist, which is exactly what flying monkeys do. Then he goes on to say, got to laugh, accusing others of stalking on defense of a man who was served a restraining order under Violence Against Women's Act last year. This is later on. Honestly, some people have a bizarre way of filtering reality. Well, yeah, you mean the people that you're trying to gaslight there, Rob, because now they know the truth and they know you were full of crap back then? Because there was no stalking, there was no harassment, and there was no restraining order, and there's nothing about Violence Against Women's Act. You lied. You absolutely lied. You got busted lying, and you still will not retract your claims, which means you're still simping for her. This is my actual correspondence with my lawyer, dated June 10th, I believe it is. 14th? It's hard for me to read, so I hope you guys can read it. But it is really small, and I do apologize. I don't think I can blow it up anymore. No, I can't blow that up. But it says, I said, please, when you find time, if you can answer these quick questions. And I asked, did you find out if the judge actually put the TRO under VAWA, which would make no sense as VAWA would not apply here? He responds, Steve, there is no reference to VAWA in the judge's ex parte order. Which means that when he said the judge did this, Rob Leah is lying. And he's talking about, oh, you have to believe a judge. A judge. Okay, well, here the judge never did this. The lawyer's telling people the judge never did this, or telling me the judge never did this. I couldn't release this till well after, so I released this a year later. I made it public because it's no longer of relevance. There's no need for attorney-client privilege. He's not on retainer. He's not my lawyer anymore, but whatever. Great guy, by the way. But yeah, there was no reference to anything for VAWA. Absolutely none. And then she says, the judge added that on his own accord. Really? Okay. Then why is it on every single solitary restraining order that I downloaded? It will say 18 title, whatever. And the copy that she had given to the court, before she even filled it out, it was already on there. So she lied about that. There was no evidence that the judge added to his own accord. My lawyer said the judge didn't add it on his own accord. But of course, Rob Leah doesn't care about that. He just wanted to run some kind of bizarre narrative for Katie Joy, for whatever reasons he has, to simp for her and to be her flying monkey. I don't know why. I have no idea, nor do I care. He's dishonest. He didn't care about the truth then. He doesn't care about the truth now. June 19th. Okay. It was very hard for me to read the dates on that. And I don't think he's not even with them anymore, I don't think. But and it was funny because Katie Joy, I don't have the right in front of me. Katie Joy also said, oh, did you tell me your lawyer fired you? No. First of all, that's not how it works. And I got along with the guy really well. Yeah, she said something along the lines of, oh, my lawyers had said that they'd never seen a narcissist like Steve, which I've never interacted with her lawyers. That's not how it works. Again, she was lying about that. I think that's all the screenshots I had. Oh, and this one. She says, I cannot legally speak about the outcome of the case. I can only say the restraining order was mutually dismissed, which is true, without prejudice, pending litigation for defamation. The restraining order can be refiled at any time, which was listed in the public statement, which is true. She was supposed to sue me for defamation, and my lawyer said, do it. Let her sue you for defamation, sue her back, countersue her, and take her for everything she's worth, basically. Okay, he didn't quite word it that way, but he basically said, yeah, you want her to sue you, and then you countersue. It is a lot cheaper that way. She was going to sue me for defamation. Really? Even though I have all the evidence, everything I said was completely true. Truth is the most powerful defense in a defamation case. So let me make this very clear to you. Katie Joy Paulson was so scared for her well-being from a stalker, a person who was a 10-month harassment campaign, because she said, turn down her advance, or was, wait, advance, gave her advance. How did she word this? I have to think about this. It's so freaking ridiculous. She said, went on a year-long hate campaign because she rejected or rebuffed my advances. Katie Joy, think about that. And so she was more willing to drop a protective order in order to sue me for defamation because she felt so unsafe. Even though in the defamation suit that she did have after I filed mine, because she wasn't doing with anything with hers, so I was like, okay, I have to take action. I'll sue first because I wanted to sue her. That's one of the reasons I dropped it initially. I agreed to drop because I wanted to sue her for defamation. That was already in the plans. In the countersuit she had for me, she said that I had to pay for her moving costs because she felt unsafe. So for an entire year, she felt unsafe and didn't want the protective order? Nope. It was all a bunch of BS. It was a silence me, it was a silence Tina, and a silence little Miss Noble. That's it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And Rob Leah was one of her flying monkeys that was more than willing to spread the misinformation by Katie Joy Paulson. He's doing it again now. You have been made aware of it now. I will be doing more on other people that have spread misinformation about Katie Joy, because again, she's being sued not just by 7M Product or 7M Dance or I think it's 7M or 7M Films. Dion DeRico has also told me he is still filing, and that was of last Sunday. So it's only been 4 days ago. He told me he's absolutely, his words, absolutely still filing. So I think that whoever these flying monkeys think they are, they seem to want to only come around to cause havoc when Katie Joy gets sued. However, I think these particular cases, there's not much they can do. I told Dion, don't talk to anybody about the case. Not publicly, not privately. That way these flying monkeys have nothing to add to them. Nothing they can do. Sure, people can send him stuff, but their lawyer teams will vet everything. But don't go into too much detail. There are certain people I know he is talking to, and I think that everybody that I've heard that he's, talks to him are solid people. So, if there's somebody who was not, I'm sure he would ask me about them or ask the various people that are talking about him. He's read my story on Katie Joy. He's familiarized himself with the harassment that Katie Joy and the defamation that Katie Joy has done for years now. And I think that's another reason why he's so adamant to go after, because he wants to include he says he wants to include other people involved in it as well, but so did Todd Chrisley. I hope that's true. I really do. But Todd Chrisley wanted to involve people too, and he started that weird, what do they call it? The lawsuit where you add everybody to it. Class action lawsuit. But that was kind of weird. I don't know how that would have became a class action lawsuit. I don't know how you do a class action against for defamation, even though she has a limited liability corporation. But that's all I got for you. I think it's short. I think it's simple. I think it's to the point. I don't want it to last too long so people can watch this in a very short sitting. So I was going to keep it down to less than an hour. I think I'm way lower than that. But if you have any questions, please, by all means, ask them now. How long did this run for? It ran for, how long did this go to start? I don't even know. All right, let me ask one last question. So 14% say yes, 86 say no. Wow, interesting. All right, so now start my poll. Let me end that poll. Let me start this poll. And this one's going to be, is Rob a flying monkey? And there we go. There's only one correct answer to this, as you can tell. So, yes, Rob is a lying flying monkey, without a question. I haven't ever done this before. Shoot. I'm just kind of curious here. Obviously, I don't need that poll because we all know it's true. Yeah, yes. Look at 100% say yes. 50-50. It's all yes. But how do you do this? Start a Q&A. Oh, it's just, okay, never mind. It just asks the question, It doesn't really do a poll. All right, so like I said, last minute questions. If not, ask me either DM, tweet me, which I did go private. I got a lot of stuff going on right now in real life, good, bad, and indifferent. It's nothing catastrophic, nothing like that. It's just stuff I got to focus on. Some good stuff at work. I am putting in for another promotion, but it's going to be a kind of a big thing. It takes like 3 months to solidify and stuff, maybe 2. But they definitely want to promote me again. But there's some other stuff going on with that too. And dealing with people, unfortunately, that don't do their jobs, I guess. So it sucks. I mean, it really sucks. One thing about being a supervisor when people don't do their jobs properly and you have to like be the bad guy, I hate that. That's the worst thing I hate about being somebody in a position where, especially like loss prevention, you have a situation and you have to deal with it, and like people I loathe that with a passion. Absolutely loathe it. But anyways, I got that going on, and then again, I've got in real life things I got to do, and I won't get into that. Nobody's concerned. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for Kimomaki for dropping by. Thank you, Artistic Shill. Thank you, wherever the mods that dropped by I didn't see. But thank you everyone else, and let me know what you think in the comments section. If you got questions, please ask. Please like, subscribe, become a member of the channel, join, become a new hole. I'm going to probably change those. I have a new hole, Curious Hole, King Hole or something, or I don't know. But I have a lot of holes. So if you want to become a hole, become a member of the channel, hit that membership. You get a nice green title, and then I go out and I buy drinks and food, not just for myself, but for other people. So whatever I get from my Patreon, whatever I get from member benefits, and whatever I get from Super Chats, I spend on other people. So if you look at my Facebook page or my Twitter page, I went out with a friend, bought her lunch and drinks, and I had a good time. It was enjoyable. So just to let you know that that's what all this goes to. If you want to see me go out and have a fun time and have a good meal and some drinks and get drunk, because I got a little blitzed. I'm not gonna lie, which is rare because I'm not a big drinker, and so when I have like 5 or 6 drinks and go to a house party, it took me like 2 days to recover, and so it's gonna be a while. But that's what the Patreon, that's what the member benefit goes to, and some equipment. I did buy some equipment too, so I got a new ring light, as you can tell. So you guys paid for that. Thank you very much. And that ring light is nice. You got to admit, this is pretty nice. I love this ring light. My other one was this little thing because I'm so cheap. I'm sorry. I'm not cheap. I'm frugal. But this, you're going to... Yeah, I know. This is the ring light I had. Okay. This is my ring light that I had. And it's good for like I don't know, a foot. But it just wasn't cutting it. So I just got this massive ring light. But that, again, was paid for by you guys through Super Chats, memberships, and for Patreon. So thank you very much for that. I also got some new earbuds. Got some earbuds for my phone and for my computer that help. And I also got this little thing for lighting too. This is cool. This is like, it has like colors and other things. So I did buy stuff for the show, I guess you can say. So I do appreciate that. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Go ahead and let me know what you think, and good night.